So squad and welcome back. So we have a different form of set today, but we're still back with the deck profiles. So I have for you today the Elemental Hero deck profile. This is one of my favorite decks. Even though I don't think the deck is as powerful as some of the other ones, the only reason I like the Elemental Heroes and the Neos Patients are just because of Jaden Yuki, who was my favorite protagonist of all times, and forever ever will be. So let's just get into it. Alright, so first we are running 3 copies of Elemental Hero Wingman, normal monster, no description. This is one of the, obvious cards. Next as well, 3 copies of Burstinatrix. Both of these monsters, Avion and Burstinatrix, don't really have that much attack, but however, they don't have as much attack, but Sparkman has somewhat okay attack points as well. A normal monster, 3 off as well, so don't worry. Next, some good defense capabilities. For any of you who know the Elemental Heroes, you know who I'm talking about. Elemental Hero Clayman, 2000 defense, 800 attack, just fine. Next, we are running 3 copies of Wild Heart right here. This card, you see, this card is unaffected by trap cards, which is really okay. It's a level 4. Monster has 1500 attack. It's okay, and it's used in a lot of good fusions. Next, we have Elemental Hero Bubbleman. If it's the only card in the hand, you can special summon him, and if it's the only monster on the field, you draw 2 cards. So, really good effect. A 3 off as well. Is not that many fusions with him, but I mostly play him for the draw effect. So, next, I am running 3 copies of Necroshade. Basically, Necroshade, once he's in the graveyard, you can just... If he's in the graveyard, you can only use this effect once for Necroshade. Not once per duel, just once per each Necroshade you have in the graveyard. So, you can just summon level 5 or higher Elemental Hero monster without tributing, which is really good for summoning Neos or Blade Edge. So, next, we are running 3 copies of Woodsman. You see, Woodsman has 1000 attack and 2000 defense. Really okay defense capabilities. And every standby phase, you can add a polymerization card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is really good because this deck is all based around the fusion summoning. Because GX was all about fusion summoning, they didn't have synchros or XYs or anything. So, next, we are running 2 of Ocean. Ocean is basically like if you have Ocean on the field and Woodsman, it's a pretty good combo because Ocean allows you to add a monster, either Elemental Hero from your graveyard or field to the hand, which is really okay, but I'm running a 2 off because it doesn't have as much defense capabilities as Woodsman. So next, probably one of the more popular Elemental Heroes, Prisma. This one isn't popular for the Elemental Hero deck just by itself. It's popular outside of the Elemental Hero deck, mostly because it's just really good because you can take the name of a fusion material, which is really good for basically just no cost almost. Next, we are running 2 Captain Gold. So Captain Gold is basically like yesterday I showed you guys from the fairy deck. Basically, you contribute him to add Skyscraper to your hand, and he can be on the field as if Skyscraper isn't on the field, which is really good. Next, we are running 2 copies of Lady Heat. Lady Heat so at the end of your turn, your opponent takes 200 life points for each Elemental Hero monster you control, which is not a bad effect. And there's a really good fusion with it, I think. So we have 2 copies of Ice Edge. You see, if this card is unaffected by effects of level 4 or higher monsters, and cannot be destroyed by battle by a level 4 or higher monster, damage calculation is applied normally. Really good. Next, I am running 2 copies of Heat. He gets 200 attack points for each Elemental Hero monster on the field, which is Nice. Next, probably the most should be banned card, Stratus. When he's normal summon, you can either destroy spell and trap cards equal to the number of elemental heroes you control except Stratus, or add an elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good. Next, we are running 2 copies of elemental hero Neos, probably Jaden's ace monster, I think, and he's probably the best normal monster, so he isn't of much use in this deck, but I think I might make a deck about the new patients tomorrow, or it's gonna be sometime soon, don't worry guys. So he's gonna be way usefuler in that deck. So next we have Honest Neos. So I'm not really using this card for its effect of being able to give a monster 2500 attack points, which is really good. Next we have Blade Edge. When Blade Edge attacks a defensive monster, your opponent just takes piercing battle damage. Really good, but it does require tributes, so yeah. So next I am playing Rottweiler, because adding, you see, if it's the straight up battle, you can basically add polymerization from your graveyard, and the monster was used for fusion summon, which is really good. Next, we are playing for the Jaden aesthetic, Winged Karibo. This card is probably one of my favorite Karibo cards, so definitely like it. Next, 2 polymerizations. Like, if in a deck that requires polymerizations, you're like, what? Why would you only run 2? Because we're also running 2 fusion subtitles, because this card is almost way better than polymerization. We're running ultra polymerization, and as I said, every fusion deck has its own fusion spell card. Miracle Fusion, basically you can fusion summon by banishing monsters from your graveyard, and we're running Fusion Recycling Planet. Basically you can just, once per turn you can discard 1 card, add a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. There's more to that effect, but I'm too lazy to read it, so there that is. Next, we're running Skyscraper, obviously one of Jaden's, this is like the most memorable Jaden field spell that we have. And for, I'm running 1 Terraforming for Skyscraper and the planet, Fusion Recycle Planet. Next, Hero Mask. So, target 1 monster you control, send 1 elemental hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, and basically that monster gets that monster's name, which is really good for fusion summons. Next, we're playing Hero's Guide or Guild, I don't know. Once per turn, you have both players send the top cards of their deck to the graveyard. If a warrior type monster is sent to the graveyard this way, the player who sent it can add it to their hand. If this card is added to a player's hand, by the effect, destroy this card, which is not always that good, which is why it's a one-off. And for the aesthetic of Winged Karibo, I am running the Flute of Summoning Karibo. Obviously, could get very useful in various situations if you're very like low on health or something, which this card can get useful most of the time. Next, for the aesthetic, help you out clear the field, Raigeki, because this deck doesn't have, like, if you're stuck with a really powerful monster in your opponent's field, I think Raigeki wouldn't be that bad. Next, because you can end out with bad hands, I am playing 3 copies of Card Trader, because you can end out with really bad hands with this deck, which is why this card, I think it's really good. Next, just for some burn damage, I'm playing Okazi. This is probably the only deck that has Okazi in mind, apart from the Mystic Mine burn deck, which we will get in a couple of days later after this. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen, don't worry guys. Next, this trap card isn't that viable, but I'm running an Edge Hammer. Target 1 elemental hero Blade Edge, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster. The bad thing is that you have to have Blade Edge on the field, which this deck does not like tribute summoning. Next, we are running Hero's Signal, because I run this card with Winged Karibo combo, because if they destroy Winged Karibo, then you can just summon another elemental hero monster. But you have to watch out, if you need a monster on the field, then you have to make sure that obviously it's not gonna be destroyed by another opponent's monster. So watch out. And next I am running Elemental Recharge. This card is really good because you gain 1,000 life points for each elemental hero monster on my field. This was actually just suggested by Taysiv, so thumbs up to him. And next, Fusion Reserve, another fusion card. Reveal one fusion monster from your extra deck. Add one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on this card from your deck to your hand. Then you can add a polymerization card from your graveyard to your hand, which is really good. But if it wasn't a trap card, it would be an even better thing. But because this deck has a lot of fusions, I am running Final Fusion. So during either player's turn, battle step, when a fusion monster you control battles an opponent's fusion monster, take both those fusion monsters, negate the attack all, and if you do, each player takes damage equal to the combined attack of those monsters. Really good effect. Next, for some defense capabilities, because you can end out with a clear field on this deck, I am running Absorbing Shield and Ubaku. Two of these cards are really good, so it's really good overall for the defense capabilities. And now we're going into the extra deck, guys. This is probably more the field ones. We're running one Elemental Hero Inferno. This is fusion of Heat and Lady Heat. Basically, if it attacks a water type monster, it gains 1,000 attack points. Not all that good. Next, we're running Venus. Don't sure if this card is real, but pretty much you cannot special summon monsters except by fusion summoning. Your opponent takes all battle damage that you would have taken from battles involving this card. All face-up elemental hero monsters you control other than this card gain 500 attack and defense. Next, Wild Sparkman, probably not real, so I'm not even gonna read it. Because I tried to find it, but I didn't find it. I'm not sure if it is real, guys, but if it is, just find it, guys. Wild Sparkman, really good effect, I think. Probably the first fusion monster Jane summoned, Flame Wing Man. If it destroys a monster, the attack of the monster goes out of your life points. Core is really good. 3 elemental hero monsters, so if it's attacks, you can double its attack points. Really good. Shining Flare Wingman. So basically, Wingman plus Sparkman, and it gains 300, I think, attack for each elemental hero monster in your graveyard. Really good. Basically, the same effect as Flame Wingman. Gaia, you basically can half a monster's attack and then discard gains it. It's just if this is basically an elemental hero monster and earth monster, Great Tornado, elemental hero monster, and winged monster, and it halves all monsters on the fields, all of monsters on your opponent's side of the field's attack. Next, we have Terra Firma. Basically, this card just is the fusion of Ocean and Woodsman. This monster cannot be special summoned except by fusion summoning. You contribute one face-up elemental hero monster to have this card gain attack equal to the tribute monster until the end phase. Okay, effect. We're running Nova Master, basically elemental hero monster plus fire monster. If it destroys a card by battle, draw one card, which for Gene would be just really good. Oh, sorry, I moved the camera. It doesn't matter. Wait. We're also running Ramhard Blaster, so this card can attack in defense mode, but only there's no monsters on the field and its attack is halved, which is not all that good. Next, Thunder Giant. This is basically the fusion of Sparkman and Clayman. Basically, when it's summoned, you can destroy a monster that has less attack points than him. Next, Dark Bright. I'm basically running this card to get Necroshade in the graveyard, but I can't read what it says because it's blurry, so it's basically just for sending Necroshade to the graveyard for me. Next, I'm running Plasma Vice. Must be first fusion summoned, cannot be first summoned by any other ways. If this card attacks an inspiration monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent, you can discard this card and target one attack to each monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Nice. Next, we're running Necroid Shaman. Basically, it's another Necroshade fusion for Necroshade and Wild Sparkman. Not Sparkman. Wild Man. That's what I'm gonna call him. So, if this card is special summon, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Then you can special summon one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their side of the field, which is okay. Next, we're running Tempest. Because, okay, so You can send one other card you control to the graveyard to target one monster you control with this card is face up on the field. That monster can be destroyed by battle, which is really nice for comboing. Next, Grandman, I would suggest doing this with two Neoses, because this card is using two normal monsters, two hero normal monsters, and it gets 300 attack points for each of their levels. And lastly, Wild Edge, which is just wild. It's using Blade Edge and Wild. Oh my god, what the fuck is his name? I can't even remember one thing. Wild Heart. Jesus. You can attack all monsters in opponent control. So that's it, guys. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and tell me in the comments if you want more deck profiles. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you wouldn't miss any more videos. And join the Soul Squad. And I'll see you next time. Bye.